Hi everyone, this is Navila and today the main thing we will be learning is osmosis and biology. So first let's talk about what is a solution. So a solution is made up of a solute and a solvent. What is a solute? A solute is a particle that is dissolved in the solvent, and solutes may be solids, liquids, or gases. And a solvent, it is the medium in which a solute is dissolved. Usually it's a liquid or it may also be a gas. Take this as an example. If you think of some salt water, then this is some water where we give some salt. So the salt is dissolving in the water, which is why salt is a solute in this case and water is the solvent in which the solute is dissolved. One of the most essential things that we need to know about while learning osmosis is the difference between a dilute solution and a concentrated solution. So what is a dilute solution and what is a concentrated solution? So a concentrated solution is one that has a relatively large amount of dissolved solute, and a dilute solution is one that has a relatively small amount of dissolved solute. So it has a higher water potential than a concentrated solution. Now let's talk about this more. What exactly is water potential? So water potential is basically the tendency of water to move from one place to another. This is what is meant by This is what is meant by water potential. A concentrated solution is one that has large amount of solutes. Which has large. So a concentrated solution is one which has large amount of solutes. So having a large amount of solutes means that there is less water potential, that is there is less water molecules in this particular solution. So it has a lower water potential than, for example, a dilute solution which has a less amount of solutes and more water molecules, making it a solution of higher water potential. So let's recap. A concentrated solution is one that has a relatively large amount of solute, which makes it a solution of less water potential than a dilute solution, which is one that has a relatively small amount of solutes, so it has a higher water potential than a concentrated solution. And water potential is the tendency of water to move from one place to another. Now let's talk about the different types of solutions so that you can understand water potential even better. So what does isotonic mean? Isotonic means it is a solution of equal concentration. That means that equal concentration. Hypotonic means that it has less concentration, that is perhaps a dilute solution. And hypertonic means it has more concentration. So in isotonic solution, when it has an equal concentration, it means that there is also equal water potential. In hypotonic, it has less concentration, which means that it has more water molecules, which means that more water potential. Hypertonic means that there is more concentration, which means less water molecules and thus less or lower water potential. Now, Using these terms is always involves the comparison between two different solutions. For example, if you take this and this as an example, this is A and this is B. In A, we have perhaps more solutes. So in A, we have more solutes. In B, we don't have that many solutes. So it means that A is hypertonic to B because A has more concentration of solutes than B. And B is hypotonic to A, which means that B has less concentration than A. And if there are two jars which have like the equal amount of solvent as well as solute, that means that A is isotonic to B, which means that they too have the same amount of solute, which makes them having the equal concentration. Now, how does all of this relate to osmosis? That is what we are going to learn right now. So this is the definition of osmosis. Osmosis is the movement of water molecules from a solution of higher water potential to a solution of lower water potential through a partially permeable membrane. Now, what is a partially permeable membrane? In one of our videos, we have talked about the cell surface membrane, which is an example of a partially permeable membrane. That is, it only allows smaller molecules or some specific substances to enter into as well as leave the cell. A partially permeable membrane only allows some specific substances to go through. For example, in this side, we have these solutes and we have the water. In this side, we also have water but less solutes, which means that this portion has the higher water potential than this. Let's refer to this as X and Y. This means that X is hypotonic to Y, which means that it has a lower concentration or higher water potential than Y. Then what will happen in this case? Osmosis will occur taking these water molecules through this part and here. So we have learned that osmosis has to take place through a partially permeable membrane, which is semi-permeable. This means that the water molecules move from a place of their higher concentration, that means higher water potential, to a place of the lower concentration, that is lower water potential, through a membrane with pores in it that lets these molecules through but not others. In this case, only water molecules can pass through this membrane and not the large solutes. Now, osmosis is a passive transport, which means that it does not require any sort of energy. The cell membrane, it is fitted with aquaporins, the cell membrane is fitted with special protein channels called aquaporins, which allow the water molecules to pass through without expending any sort of energy. We keep talking about concentration while learning osmosis. So what exactly is concentration? A concentration is basically a measure of how much solute there is present per volume of the solvent. An example of concentration is like the amount of salt to water in a salt water solution, like we have seen in the first example. And that is all for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. In our next video, we are going to talk about the effect of osmosis on plant cell as well as animal cell. And then we will talk about active transport. So thank you all for seeing through this video, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Give this video a like and also share it with students who might find this video helpful. Thank you so much.